Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to talk about something called a box and whiskers plot, or it can also be called a box plot. And this box plot is representing data of student scores on a 15-point quiz. So let's talk about what the box plot tells us, and then I will show you how to make a box plot. So this box plot can give us some information about the data, like it can show us where the low score was. That's called the minimum score. So you can see that the lowest score on this quiz was a 5. This point right here is the highest score on the quiz. So that's the maximum score. Sorry, I keep hitting my phone with my pen. That's your maximum score is a 12. This line, right, so these are our whiskers. This is why it's called a box and whiskers. If you look inside the box, this line inside the box is at the median, which you know is the middle score. So the median score on this quiz was a 9. And then if you look at the two ends of the boxes, those are called our quartile scores. And this is called the first quartile or the lower quartile. So that's at 6. And this right here is called the upper quartile or the third quartile at the 10. So if you think about that word quartile, it sounds like quarters. What we're actually doing is we're splitting the data into quarters, 4 equal sections. So let's look at some data, and I will show you how to make a box and whiskers plot. Here's a list of scores. Again, these could be scores on a 15-point quiz. We can tell that the minimum score is a 6. That's our low score. Our maximum or our high score is a 14. We need to find our median and our quartile scores. So we're going to start with the median. We know that's the middle score. We know we can cross off a low score with a high score until we get to the middle. Now I am just doing a really light cross off because I need to come back and be able to use these scores again, which I will show you in a minute. Looks like the median score here is a 10. That's the middle. There's 5 scores on each side of that. Now, if you look at the median splits your data into 2 equal parts, a lower part and an upper part. What we're going to do now is we're going to find the middle of each of those parts. So we're going to ignore the 10. And we're just going to look from the 6 to the 9 and cross off a low score with a high score until I get to the middle. The middle of that lower part was a 7. That's our first quartile score or our lower quartile score. Now we're going to do the same thing with the upper quartile. Again, we're going to ignore the 10 and we're going to just find the middle score from the 11 to the 14. So cross off a low score with a high score. 13 is the middle of that upper half. That's our upper quartile or our third quartile. So if you look at the data, what we've done was we've broken it into 4 parts. This is our lower or our first quartile. Our median is actually our second quartile. And then the 13 is the third or the upper quartile. So now I'm ready to draw my box and whiskers. So when I draw my box and whiskers, I'm going to start by putting a point at the minimum, a point at the maximum, which was 14. And then I'm going to put lines where each of my quartiles were. My first quartile was at 7. My median was at 10. My third quartile was at 13. Now I'm ready to draw the box and whiskers. The box will go from 7 to 13, our first quartile to our third quartile, with the line at the median right in the middle. Then our whiskers will go out to our lowest point and our highest point. Now, because this is all online, you will not be asked to draw a box and whiskers plot, but I just thought it was helpful for you to see how one was made so that when you are looking at them, you can understand what they're talking about. Hope you have a great day. Please let me know if you have any questions.